Picture this. You're having dinner with your family and your parents start talking about college. They start complaining that you don't do much outside of school besides play video games. And then to add insult to injury, they start comparing you to your cousin Billy. Cousin Billy does speech and debate. Billy's on the varsity swim and the varsity tennis teams. Billy plays first violin in school orchestra, and they've already racked up nearly 100 hours of community service. You're probably wondering, is it actually important to be like your cousin Billy? Well, the answer might surprise you. Hi, I'm Elias, and welcome back to College Vine. Today, we're going to talk about extracurricular activities. In particular, we're going to explain how you can build the extracurricular resume that will get you into your dream school. First off, let's dispel the myth around your cousin Billy. In our example, Billy is the prototypical, well-rounded high school student. Billy does a lot of different things, and maybe even does many of them pretty well. While it's definitely possible to get into top schools if you're a well-rounded applicant like Billy, this is actually not the optimal kind of resume. Both you and Billy would benefit more from having a spike and a theme than from having a whole mess of unrelated activities in which you've achieved only moderate success. Let's start with a spike. What is it, and why is it so important? Well, as we explained in our elite admissions guide, admissions officers typically try to accept the students whom they believe are most likely to succeed in their future careers. At College Vine, we've got a name for this. We call it the success principle. Having a significant collection of past achievements in one area, that's the spike, that can convince your application readers that you'll have great success down the road as well. And also, spikes make your application more memorable. If you want an acceptance, your readers are going to need to remember your application and advocate for you when they meet with the larger admissions committee. Applicants with spikes stick out, like spikes. Spikes stick out of things, right? I'm thinking of those like dinosaurs with spikes on their back. Okay, now let's talk about how you can develop a spike. The good news is just about anything can work. You can have a spike in music, sports, visual arts, even in competitive video gaming. That's right. Maybe you've won or placed in some serious gaming competitions. Maybe you've gotten yourself sponsorships or started and organized a large esports team at your school. Take that, Mom and Dad, and also Billy. However, even if you don't make it to the top of your state's rankings in something, that doesn't mean that your work will go unappreciated. Remember, admissions officers don't only judge your activities based on how impressive they are. They also factor in how much time you've committed to your activities and the passion that you've demonstrated. A few additional pursuits and hobbies separate from your spike, these can also make your resume, and also you, seem a lot more three-dimensional. So, is that it? Well, not quite. What if you could find a way to connect your spike with your other passions and activities, even if they seem totally unrelated? The way to do this is by crafting an application theme and using it to build a narrative about who you are and why you do these activities. Maybe you're planning to be pre-med and eventually you'd like to become a cardiologist. Well, I want to be a doctor, that's not a theme, but I'm deeply committed to helping people. That could be one. This theme could help you tie together some pre-med extracurriculars, like, say, a medical research internship, with a spike in video games. For example, you could post Minecraft tutorials on YouTube and donate the ad proceeds to your local clinic. Alternatively, you could start a club at your high school in which students visit a local senior home and play games with elderly patients, to help those patients work on their hand-eye coordination. This is a great example of how you can build a theme that both leverages your spike and relates it to your other extracurricular activities. This theme will provide a more complete picture of who you are as an applicant and also show how you've already honed some of the necessary skills for your intended career path. So once you have a theme, how do you talk about it on your college apps? Well, you don't need to come right out and clearly say your theme in your personal statement, but by implying that this theme is one of your motivations for pursuing each of your extracurricular activities, you'll develop a stronger and more cohesive narrative throughout your entire application. And there you have it. By developing a spike, working out a theme that connects that spike to your other activities, and writing about all of it in a passionate and genuine way, you will drastically improve your college admissions chances. In fact, you'll likely have a much better shot at elite schools than your cousin Billy, even if Billy has more activities in total than you do. Extracurriculars might be tricky, and you probably still have some questions about how you can build a spike, how you can develop a theme, and so on. Well, don't worry, we're here to help. We've linked some relevant posts from our blog below, as well as some of our past live streams on the topic of extracurriculars. You can also visit collegefind.com to view all of our other resources, all of which are free, such as our custom chancing engine and our scholarship opportunities with real money, and much, much more. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, please do like it and subscribe below so that you can keep up to date with all of our upcoming content. Thanks for watching. See you all again next time. Seriously guys, like this video and subscribe.